Welcome to Reva After Dark. My name is Reva and I am a certified relationship and intimacy coach. Joining me today is the beautiful Tori Culmer. She's an activist for a transgender woman and she also works along with people living with HIV and AIDS. Hey Tori.
Hi, how are you doing?
I am very good. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
You're very, very welcome. Okay, so tell us your story.
Well, I am a transgender woman living in the Bahamas.
Gorgeous, may I say.
Thank you. And my story is basically that I am trying to be a voice for transgender women, young and old, who are not brave enough to live their truth. So I step out there and be an activist and advocate for them, for rights, for access to health care, access to a decent living, jobs and stuff like that. So I try to be a voice for them.
That's fantastic. When did you decide that you wanted to be a transgender woman?
Okay, we have to go all the way back.
Yeah.
Because when I was growing up, I always felt something was not wrong, but I didn't felt right. I didn't felt like I fit in, basically. And I always know I like playing with dolls. I lean toward more feminine stuff. And growing up in the Bahamas, we didn't know what transgender was because I have a problem saying my age. You know, I'm 44 right now. So way back then, yeah,
She's gorgeous, everyone.
So way back then, we didn't know like what transgender is. And so I know I felt like a girl, but I didn't know how to explain it. And when I get older, living in the States, going to high school, and I didn't realize what transgender was until I entered college. I started finding people that was more towards me. And I just noticed that, my God, this is where I belong. And then people started explaining me, oh, if this is how you really feel, this is what transgenderism means. And I didn't really started transitioning or started to get into that lifestyle until I was about 18. I was about 18 around that time. That's when I started doing drag shows.
Really?
I did drag shows at 18 and stuff like that. I was very, very popular in the drag show scenes. But I noticed that wasn't me though. But that was the part where I can lash out more, say, okay, I could live this lifestyle more comfortable at the night, but that still wasn't me because I felt more like a woman. I didn't feel like a performer. But I was doing it just to embrace it more. So as I got older and started learning about transgenderism and what I need to do to take that next step, I was about 25 when I first started taking my hormones, started transitioning.
Okay, man, so you look gorgeous.
Well, thank you.
You're very, 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 very welcome. Okay, so so you're telling me it's a big difference between a drag queen performer versus a transgender?
Oh yes, it's a big difference. Between a drag queen and a transgender woman, a drag queen still consider themselves males, but they just love performing as a woman. So you have female impersonator.
Oh, okay.
So that's what the drag queen is female impersonator. As far as the transgender, she's not impersonating a female. She believes she's a female. And that's the best way that I basically explain it to you. So I feel that I'm trapped in a male's body, a female trying to get out of, the best way she can and stuff like that. But as far as the drag queen, she's comfortable living her daily life as a male, but when that light camera turns on, she is in that persona, that acting role as a female.
Okay. So what is the hardest part of being a transgender so far, a transgender woman?
Well,
especially in our society.
Especially in our society, because there's all levels of difficulty transitioning into a woman. And the first stage for me for transitioning was, oh my God, when you first start that process and you want to hurry, look a certain way, and you still look like a man when you look in the mirror. That is one of the difficult part of transitioning because you want to, you know how you feel, but when you look in the mirror, you say, oh my God, why do I look this way? The depression comes. But that's about what you have to deal with inside of you. But when you're dealing with society around you who still disrespect you, I have people still today, because they know I'm a transgender, they refuse to use the proper pronoun that I go by. They would say he, you know what I'm saying? They try to do it deliberately to throw it in my face. You know, especially on social media, say, oh, that's not a woman, that's a man. Call him a he, you know, they do it on. So you have to get used to that, you know. So those are the difficult things as a transgender woman we have to go through, is trying to, because they know they're insulting us because we want to be called a she or her and stuff like that. So that's something as you have to have very tough skin. Transgender women have to have a very tough skin as you're going through this process of transitioning.
Okay, and for me personally, people have to understand that people have a right to choose to be who they are and be called who they want to be called.
Correct.
It's just that we as a society have to mature on another level, because it's accepted. It's accepted. With Kim Kardashian's father, what's his name?
Jenna.
Okay, isn't it accepted? Isn't, if you love somebody, especially from a family member, you expect the support.
You expect the support.
You know?
And we have some transgender females and males who are lucky to get the family support. Not all of us are able to do that. Like, I was very lucky for having my mother and my father's support, you know. But when it comes to my great-grandmother, there's a different story, and a couple of aunts and stuff like that. So you have a mixture of those who feel that you are living a sinful life and they feel you're going on the wrong track, and then there's some people who just embrace you fully and try to understand how you're living. And like I tell every person, I say, with my parents, their love for me is unconditional, you know. And I say sometimes my father tried to be the peacemaker, because I have 5 brothers. I have one brother with my mom and dad, and then I have 4 outside. So, and they are slowly, you know, grasping with it, and then there's my father trying to say, hey, this is still your family, you know?
Right.
Though they have disagreed with what I'm going through, how I'm living my life, my father's the one that said, hey, you grew up with this person, you have to respect, etc., etc. So that's how my family is dealing with, you know, my parents' situation. So I have a strong bond with my parents.
Oh, that's awesome. You know, because people should be allowed to be with one another.
Yeah, people should have to, you know, and people have to realize in family, when you are doing this to your child who is growing up, and they might have that tendency to want to go towards that with the transgender, the suicide rate in the transgender community is very high, very high. So you have to be careful how you treat this child, try to understand it if you even want to see a psychiatrist. You just have to basically learn before you lash out and saying, I'm going to beat it out of you, because you cannot beat it out of a person. You cannot. So you have to really learn. If your love for that child is unconditional, you will try to learn the best way possible to navigate yourself and your child through this process.
Tell me about your work with people living with HIV and AIDS.
Okay, my work was, I am on the chair for Care Bahamas. I'm the vice chair. And what we do, we work with people who are already living with HIV, and we deal with a wide section. Though in my community, it's very, it's also high within the community, the LGBT community. The Care Bahamas work with a very large section of the community, straight, gay, bi, whatever. We work with those who are affected with HIV. And we try to make sure they stay on their meds, because today we try to reach 2020. And what we're trying to do is, when people stay on their meds, you can live longer. And people don't realize AIDS is not the one that is killing you. I mean, HIV is not the one that's killing you. AIDS is. You can live up to 30 years with HIV and be very healthy and strong, and nobody will be able to tell just by looking at you if you are stay on your meds. So we're trying to teach them, and because a lot of people is embarrassed, and people find out that they're taking meds and stuff like that. But we're trying to teach people that if you just take your meds, stay healthy, you can live as long as it allows you to live, you know?
You see, you told us some of your coming out story, but tell us exactly your full coming out story.
Oh, my full coming out story. Okay. Oh, like it well. Let's start with when my mom, I should have told this, when my mom first found out that I was I was gay at that particular time. I could call myself, because right now I don't call myself gay. I consider myself a straight woman. But at that time, I was about 17, around 17, and I didn't came home one night. And my mom got a little upset. So she went in my room and she found my organizer. And she started calling all my close friends on that organizer. And she happened to find one of my friends who happened to be very mouthy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she happened to talk to him and she said, "Oh, you don't know who he is?" At that time, he said, "Oh, he's with his boyfriend," etc. You know, all that crazy stuff. And so when I came home the next day, and that was the next morning, I saw my mom on the phone talking to my grandmother, and she was crying. I can never forget that moment. She was crying, saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe this." I was so upset. And that's when she, you first hear the news. Your mothers always know, but they never, try to, mother always know what their child is or isn't. But until it actually comes out, it's still a shocker. So it did hurt my mom at first, and then slowly came around to accepting who I am and loving me no matter what. So that was one of my memory of. I didn't come out. I was forced out. Because once my mom said, because I was forced. So when my mom found out, I started telling my friends from high school at the time, and when I told my friends, "This is who I am," they all except this already knew. Right, I should have known, because if I could do sleepovers at a girl house at that particular time in high school, I should have known. They already know, So,
tell us about dating for a transgender woman in the Bahamas.
Okay, dating for transgender women. First of all, it's not easy. Okay, let's get that right. To the point, it's not easy for a transgender woman to be good, but we do have some who are dating, living comfortably, private and stuff like that. And with transgender women meeting a guy, or some guy give us a compliment, I always advise a transgender woman to like the person up front. Don't hold nothing back. There's nothing secret about it. If there's a guy interested in you, if he likes what he sees, he will still ask you for your phone number, still want to get to know you no matter what. Just be honest. If he said, "No, I'm not into that," that was never meant to be. So always be honest. It's for your safety. Now, with dating a trans woman in the Bahamas, it's usually on the down low. It's not openly public because we date straight men. We don't date gay. Some of them might be bisexual. I prefer not to date a bisexual man. I date straight men, so it's usually on the down low and very private. So if you are willing to get into a down low relationship, always be secretive. If you're comfortable with that, then by all means go into it, because it is, like I said, it is very difficult for a transgender woman, for a straight man to date you publicly when you are so well known. And, like we have some transgender women who live in the Bahamas and nobody knows, because they never exposed themselves. They never came out as transgender women. So they could go about on their daily bit and their boyfriend can date them openly. So we do have a few of them here. So, but it is not easy, and it's just like I said, it does happen though, it is possible.
Do you think some transgender woman would prefer to wait till afterwards to let the gentleman know, or?
Well, it all depends on each individual. Like I always try to encourage girls to always let them know before it gets sexual, at least before it gets sexual. Do not take a man to bed unless they know what they're getting into. Even if you post-op or pre-op, doesn't matter. Always let them know beforehand, because you don't understand what that person might go through after they find out. So it's best to let them know up front.
Okay, thank you. So let's talk about the referendum.
Okay.
Not to go back there, but let's talk about it a little bit.
Okay, when the referendum came out, and I debuted on NB12 that day, letting the whole Bahamas know that I was a transgender on the news, that on the day of the referendum, and I said, I'm here to speak about transgenders, transgender rights. We believe that we have a right to healthcare, right to education, right to jobs, right to this, and we're trying to fight for all of that. That's when I came up for the referendum. And at that time, it was a very hot topic, everybody was against the Amendment 4 bill because they feel that this bill was going to encourage same-sex marriage. And and on top of that, the transgender, I don't know if you saw the press conference that the transgender had when he was at the Hilton. That even struck an even bigger to do because how these transgender just coming out the woodworks with this amendment for all of a sudden you see transgender here, transgender there. This never happened before, so that even got everybody else upset about we're not going to vote for this bill. And this bill was not only this bill was for equality between sexes, male and female. This for right for everybody. You can't discriminate nobody on a job, etc., etc. It was not for. I'm just trying to say it was not for gay marriage. So that's why we're trying to make it clear that we're here for our rights. We want rights just like you, just like you. We just want rights throughout. For everybody deserves rights, and that's what we was fighting for. But they misunderstood what we were trying to fight for, and they think we're here trying to fight for marriage. And marriage was not on our mind. We have some people can't even come out of the closet. We talk about marriage. Talk about marriage. Nobody looking for marriage. Nobody's just looking for rights, the common human rights that everybody deserves. And I personally feel that my community did not advocate strong enough for that right to pass, because I think we had the numbers. If more people came out to the polls, and if they understand there wasn't either you didn't vote or you vote against it, they didn't realize they was voting against themselves, the humanity for what at that particular time the government was trying to get rights across the board for everybody.
Everyone, it's time for shoe fetish. So Tori, tell me a little bit about your shoes, girl.
Well, actually, shoes was given to me by my best friend. She sells shoes at Fab Finds. You want to, she's on Facebook. If you want to see, she sells beautiful shoes for reasonable price, and I just love them.
So Tori,
Yes.
Oh my God, thank you so much for joining me today. It was an honor having you.
I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much. Well, what tips could you give to the audience to take away from today's show?
Okay. Tip from a transgender woman. My first tip would be be safe. If you are transitioning, educate yourself on what the proper transitioning is and how to go about it. My organization is always reach me on my Facebook page, which is Bohemian Transgender for Healthy Living. So if you have any questions, I'm there to answer any questions you may have on hormones. What do you need to do? It's the doctor to see. I'm there to answer any questions. And always remember, love yourself. Always remember to be careful when it comes to dating. I can't stress this enough. Always be upfront to who you are, no matter what. Don't be embarrassed. Be upfront. If a guy likes you, he will accept you. Because you'd be surprised how many yes you might get. You might get 1 or 2 no's, stuff like that, but you'd be surprised if you just be upfront, the response you might get. So always be upfront to who you are, be safe, and love yourself. You only live once. Enjoy life, That's Tori tip for the day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I promise you're not alone on this journey to a perfect love. Bye for now.